Hey, we're live.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Welcome to what is it? Our third edition.
Third edition
of our Bourbon for Breakfast podcast. This morning's bourbon of choice is Bison Ridge Special Reserve Canadian whiskey, aged 8 years, 40% alcohol by volume. Should be taken under the supervision of adults. I guess we're not qualified here.
Not me, I'm the youngest one.
Yep.
But in true fashion.
Start this off right proper.
Right proper.
Right proper. Fuck yeah. Oh, you've already got some.
Yeah. So over episode number 3, we got Mike. Actually, this is the whole band. We're just having some Gene Simmons talks. You might see his head up in the corner there.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
Happy breakfast. I was never a big Kiss fan. I was a couple years too old to like catch that window of all the hair bands. You know, I was like early middle school, and then end middle school is when Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden was breaking out, and I latched on to the grunge phase.
I would have to agree with you, and that's probably the time frame where a lot of people our age, or any age for that matter, around that age is when you really start finding a huge attachment to music, unless somebody in your family has an even bigger one already.
Yeah, and back then it was whatever the vibe was, the hot topic of the moment. Whether you're going into hip hop or metal or
your
what,
particular clique, so to speak,
yeah,
was what you tended to listen to, even if you did get outside of that spectrum.
Yeah, because you're a few years on me, and Tom is too, and you guys caught the other wind.
Right.
My mom was a huge Kiss fan. So always, every time I was with her, I was listening to Kiss, watching videos of Kiss. I don't know, Ace Frehley always just kind of caught me, the way he played guitar, the way he did things. It just...
Makes sense. I mean, I look back, and there's a lot of Kiss songs that were played back then that I was familiar with growing up. But the crazy part about it was that I was never a huge Kiss fan to begin with. I came out, I was born during the era, 74. They were already on the scene, or coming out soon thereafter. And I remember some of their earlier material, even some of their obscure material. You can play it for me now, and I'm familiar with it. Mm-hmm. But to say that I was ever a huge Kiss fan, I think when they did their Unplugged segment in the late 90s to early 2000s, I want to say maybe 97, 98, wasn't it, that they did their the MTV Unplugged?
I didn't know
where
they did.
Yeah, they
I'm
did
pretty sure that was like mid-90s, like 95, 96.
Was it as early as 95, 96?
I
wouldn't disagree with you because I can't say for sure, but I know it was then because I have the VHS tapes somewhere.
My mom
because weren't they building up to like their first of 15 final tours?
Something like that.
That was after they.
It was the first time in many, many years that they brought back everybody.
Yep.
Yeah,
and they were already unmasked at that point.
Yeah, they were already unmasked. They started the whole show off with, what was it, Eric Carr, the drummer?
The Fox?
Who?
Eric Carr was a Fox. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure Peter Criss was there for that.
No, they were all there. There were 2 different drummers. I'm sorry. I think it was Eric Carr. But you have to remember, they were all unmasked.
Yeah. Eric Carr was the Fox after Peter Criss left.
That sounds about right.
Oh, they changed drummers?
Yeah, 3 times, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they changed guitarists, like...
Oh, but the makeup was different? Each guy's makeup changed?
Yeah, when they were wearing makeup, they had to wear something different because it was stereotypical for...
another character.
I'm pretty sure they had rights to the makeup itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually in my mom's. My mom went to a Kiss concert, and I was actually still in her stomach when she went there.
So that's why you turned out this way.
I guess so. I mean, it just happened to work that way. In one of their concerts, Paul Stanley used to smash his guitar, and
What do you mean some of their concerts? Almost every one of their concerts, I think he did that.
I didn't know that.
But my mom had it on
They were the ones known to.
VHS, and every time my mom used to buy me those like couple dollar little tiny guitars, like the plastic ones, I used to just at like 2 years old just smash it. Because that's what they did in the concert, so.
Yeah.
Some would like to say, though it wasn't necessarily true, that Gene Simmons was the first one to come out with those seriously high platform shoes. That makes him look
I
like
don't
10,
think that,
10 feet fucking tall.
Especially during the 70s.
Well, this guy's so cocky, he thinks that, he was the one who was the, originator of the devil horns. And
No, that was Ronnie James Dio.
it was way before Ronnie James Dio.
But he's the one who made it to metal. He even said himself that he threw it up there to say "I love you" to the crowd, because that's technically, I guess,
I love you.
Yeah. And they took it as devil horns, and everybody just started doing it. Something as simple as that.
Happens. He still wasn't the originator of it.
No, not at all.
And that's what Gene Simmons had actually gone to court and tried to trademark that so he could make money off of it.
He tried to trademark that?
Yeah. So that people couldn't use it without paying him.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know "Happy Birthday" is actually trademarked?
It is.
If you want
It's
to
actually.
Do you know how many people there were waiting to outside that courthouse go like this?
It's free. It's like off the trademark.
And then
as
like
of
this?
year. The trademark or the patent or whatever it was ran out.
Yeah, she's gonna try to jump on you constantly.
Yeah, she's all right. I'll pick her up every once in a while to appease her.
There's a cat off camera here.
Oh, well, she just loves to lay on people.
As well as a
That's all right.
girlfriend.
Yes. May hear her commentary
Sorry,
here and then.
I forgot you were recording.
Fine, you can join in.
Oh.
No, he's gonna play a game.
Ain't the first
Yeah.
time we said that.
Hello, cat. Kind of.
Those look good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
We got
just takes a
bacon,
while to cook.
blueberry pancakes. We're actually doing breakfast this time.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not just bourbon for breakfast.
Sausage and bacon in here already.
Yeah.
It's just it's on warm, so it's just keeping it all warm.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the bacon on top, so that way the bacon grease gets in the sausage.
Chef Mike hooking us up.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to say that I really enjoyed Motley Crue. There's a handful of others around there. Skid Row I liked.
Skid Row was good, but they had the one album that was great, and then like the next album after that was kind of
I do remember that. They had that one with a couple hits on it.
yeah.
Cherry Pie. No, that's Warrant. Like, getting things confused. But yeah, Skid Row had like one good
18
one.
in Life. And
18
all.
Life.
A couple others.
I Remember You.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They
I
had,
had that
six.
album.
They had like 6 songs, I think, on that album that really ended up popular.
Yeah.
And then when they came out with their second album, they had one screaming song off the. It was like the second song on the CD or something like that. And
Yeah,
then
and it was.
there was a
the rest
second
of the
one that they
album just
played for a
didn't-
little while that never caught on. They just didn't have their aura again. He was a little derailed. Sebastian Bach.
Is
He's
that
a good
why?
singer.
He was a very, very difficult individual to work with. I don't know if you remember there was a rock show where they put together him, Geddy Lee, or
How come
not
you
Geddy
sing
not
next to
Geddy
Geddy
Lee.
That would be interesting.
Right.
It was Sebastian Bach, Ted Nugent.
Okay, that makes more sense.
That can work.
I forget who the hell the bass player. Maybe it was Billy Sheehan. There was a very, very well-known bass player on there, and I forget who the hell was doing the drums. It might have been Vinnie Paul that was doing the drums. I totally forget now. And I do remember that Sebastian was the most difficult out of all 4 of the members of that supergroup
To work with?
that to work with, and it was constantly Ted Nugent going over and talking to him, calming him down, like, listen, just fucking. I know going back a little bit with Sebastian Bach during those days too, after he got away from the second album with Skid Row, and I think that if they did put out a third one, it failed.
They did.
He had
I'm
gone
pretty
into what was it, theater?
Yes.
For a while?
Opera.
Was it opera or theater?
I'm pretty sure it was opera.
Yeah, I want to say that too.
I
do
remember
that vaguely.
hearing, yeah. Sebastian Bach went into opera, and that's when his voice got a lot better. Like, he was able to hit things and actually get up there instead of just...
Oh, he always had a high register, but he was able to extend that because of the vocal training that he received doing the opera work.
Exactly. And that was after he left Skid Row. I'm pretty sure, I think somebody else actually came in for him on Skid Row for an album. I'm not completely sure about that.
That does ring a bell too. But I'm not certain either.
Yeah,
don't quote
I
me
think
on it.
Skid Row got another singer and they kicked him out because he was too difficult to work with.
I was into a lot of strange stuff during that era.
Speaking of, well, what strange? Oh, saying you hear the news because you mentioned Geddy Lee.
Neil Peart?
Neil Peart died.
Oh yeah, I saw that, and I'm
Is that how you actually say it?
I believe so.
here.
Because,
Here,
yeah. Because everyone just says Neil Peart.
That's
I
because
think
we're America and we just shorten everything to our own liking.
he's French
Very
Canadian,
good.
right?
He's
He's French, right? Or
Yeah.
He's Canadian.
Yeah, he's
I know he's
Canadian.
Canadian.
He's Canadian. I'm pretty sure he's French
Yeah,
Canadian.
the only Canadian band. You ever listen to their first Rush album?
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there, but it sounds like Led Zeppelin. Like
Yeah.
a bad Led Zeppelin.
Yes.
And then when he came in, it is totally different.
Well, he actually, I'm pretty sure he wrote a lot of the popular songs that you hear.
Yes, he wrote
Like-
the lyrics
Yeah.
and actually had the idea
And then-
ish, from what I gather.
Yeah, but Geddy Lee is so good that I bet you could just tell him a random idea and just give him a beat and he'd be like,
Yeah,
all right.
I'm thinking kind of this. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but Geddy Lee's voice over the years is he doesn't have what he had. Even I'm watching some of the videos of 2015, 2013
Oh yeah, because they did a
video
little bit.
performances, and he can hit some of those notes, but he's not where he used to be.
He's also
No.
like, what, 60?
Yeah, I saw him in the 90s, like 95, 94. It was the
I mean,
whatever was after Roll the
you can
Bones.
hit some high notes, but do you think you could do that in 30 years?
It depends on whether or not I give these up or not.
When I saw Soundgarden, he wasn't as hot as when he was in his 20s, but he picked and chose his battles. Like some songs that you could tell he liked, he'd go full bore. It'd be like and then some other things you could tell he would hang back a little bit because he'd be like, he's got a marathon to run and can't fall flat in your face at the end.
That's what the hell's the lead singer's name of Shinedown?
Shit.
Isn't it Brent something?
Maybe I know who you're talking about. He's amazing too.
He's amazing too, but he's the same way. He now, when they play out, he reserves himself for different parts, and you can tell that even getting a little bit older, he's starting to lose a little bit of his chops.
And you don't want to blow your chords out, so you gotta hang back when you have to.
It's different for a singer than a guitarist, because a guitarist, I mean, your guitar is always going to sound the same as long as you're...
Eventually arthritis is gonna make it painful, but we can
you're-
still play.
Yeah, you're going to get a little bit slower in some of your, like, original solos when you did it at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even, like, Leonard Skinner, like, some of their stuff at the beginning, like Freebird, I'm pretty sure they probably dulled down to about, from 15 minutes to about 12, probably because of the solos. I mean, eventually, this shit just happens. But, within singers, I bet you it happens a lot faster because of the fact they're using it so much.
Yeah. It all depends too. It seems like it's a little maybe genetics or how well you take care of your voice over your lifetime.
Yeah.
Because you hear some other older singers, or can't think of her name right now, but she just came out with an album. My dad likes anyway, but she's like 59, 60, and she can still sing it pretty damn good.
We just went and saw Cher in concert. She's 80.
Cher.
Yeah, she's what, 80? 3 years old.
Is she that old? She's got to be up somewhere.
She's up there. I'll have to look it up in a minute.
She's got to be hitting 70.
She's the reason for all the auto-tune nowadays.
Sharon?
Yeah.
She didn't have it in concert.
Always. I'm almost good.
But anyway,
Yeah.
throughout the course of the concert, I mean, it was kind of cool because she reserved herself, but she reserved herself in a slightly different manner. She did her songs full bore, every shot. But she would take the song length, maybe 10 minutes between each song, and come out, interact with the crowd, talk, tell a little bit of a story about herself and her life, play a little bit of a video, and narrate what's going on in it, and explain a lot of stuff about her.
Oh, and catch her wind back.
You know, and one of the things that she was saying, and I forget if it was 63 or 83 or 73, I remember the 3 being in there somewhere, but she's like, what is your 73, 83-year-old grandmother, if you're a 73, 83-year-old grandmother, what are you doing right now?
Yeah, exactly. Well, to Neil Peart.
To Neil Peart.
Genius of a
And all the
drummer.
other greats.
All the other greats.
Diamond Vinny.
Who?
Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie
Oh.
Paul.
Oh, yes.
It's funny, I was listening to Pantera the other day, and I was like, you know, I would be curious to see if we could pull off Cemetery Gates acoustic.
I learned, at one point
I don't know if I would want to.
At one point I learned Side of a Bullet. That was a tough fucking song. But I was playing it acoustic a little bit, and it works. I'd have to relearn it, but that's not really...
If you remember correctly, after we learned it, it really wasn't that tough, because you taught it to me.
Yeah.
Because there's still
It's
some
just-
of that
there's some-
lick that I
yeah.
remember.
There's some weird bit, but actually never mind, because you gotta tune your guitar completely different. You'd have to set a whole guitar aside for that song.
It's not like we don't have enough of them.
This is true.
If we're going to play a good
what's
show,
it tuned to?
this isn't an issue.
Yeah.
What's it tuned to?
Oh, that's something bizarre.
I think it was an open G or an open C.
It was like an open G, but dropped a whole step.
Because it's the same thing with what do you call it? My friend learned a Pearl Jam song, and it was in like the E was like dropped to a C, and then like it was pretty much in a C chord.
Okay, yep.
Like the whole guitar was in like that, and then that's how you played the song. And I was like, that's.
I wonder what song
fucking
that is,
weird.
because I've learned probably 80% of all Pearl Jam songs at one time or another.
He could have just got wrong tabs, because that was back.
Well,
when we
maybe
used to
that's the
watch
correct
tabs.
way, and
Well-
I learned the open, or the regular
The
standard
Black
tuning
Crows
method.
used to do that constantly. They would play with, like, remember She Talks to Angels was open E,
Open
Yeah.
which was
Well,
what?
I can't wait to see him this summer.
E, B, E, B, G sharp, B, E.
Oh, you guys are going to see him?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to go see him.
6th row.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no, E, B, E,
I
G
spent,
sharp,
like-
B, E.
I spent like, it was almost $400 for the tickets by the end. They're $360.
Oh, that's right, they are coming back, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, I
I
can't.
don't know, I'm thinking about going to see that, what is it, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison.
I heard about that. That's a good mixture. Yeah, that'd be a good lineup. Did you see on the billboard? I think it already happened, but it was Slayer with Primus and Biohazard.
Yes. I did.
Slayer's
I-
gonna come around for another farewell tour.
Yeah, they're going the Kiss route.
I was gonna say, because literally, I just went to the last Slayer show with my longtime friend from high school.
How long ago?
Actually, elementary school up until junior high was the last time we had contact until a few years back. Mike from Uxbridge Tree Service.
Oh, I think I met him, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you did once.
Yeah. Once.
And him and I took him to Slayer because that was something we grew up. We were huge fans of it back in the day, and that was something that I figured it would be great because we hadn't been doing anything like that. We
That's
had
cool.
a fucking fantastic time.
See, I wasn't a big fan of Slayer. I had friends that were into some of the heavier stuff, but I remember they had a double album. I don't know if it was a collection. Was it
Decade of Aggression.
that?
Yes, I
had
had.
that, and I listened to it. I got into some of the tunes.
War Ensemble on that was one of my best or favorite recordings of that song.
Yeah, that was cool.
Rain and Blood came out okay on that album, but War Ensemble, the whole intro to it, everything about War Ensemble, just for whatever, to me, it keeps ringing in my head. I can still play the whole thing, hear the crowd screaming. I played that album over and over and over again.
I tried to get into it. I would just let the whole thing play because I know people who are big fans. I'm like, you gotta let stuff soak in sometimes to catch what's really going on. And I didn't really get into it that much, honestly. There was a couple that was key. They had that one that maybe got a little bit of airplay. I think like Headbangers Ball. They had a video for it. I forget the song, but.
See, I got into a lot of really, really obscure stuff when I was.
Go back to that.
When I was younger. When I say obscure, we'll talk first hair bands. They're not so much obscure, but not the big names that you would think of. I was really, really interested in Kicks. Tora Tora.
I met Kicks.
Danger.
I met Kicks at Riverside.
Dawkin, which Dawkin was a pretty popular one. There were a lot of people who really got into that.
My buddy's older brother, big on Dawkin.
But now here's some of the more obscure names from that same era. Babylon AD. Lord Tracy.
I think Babylon rings a bell. Lord Tracy, no.
Babylon, just the name Babylon itself rings a bell.
Babylon AD was Bango the Bells was the song that really everybody, got into. Saigon Kick.
I remember that band.
They were a little bit more on the obscure side. Faster Pussycat.
I remember that band.
People know a few songs, but they don't know them like I did. The Toadies.
The Toadies I liked.
They actually came out during
later.
They were a little later during the grunge era.
But they were kind of their own weird thing.
But then you flip that script and you bring that to a slightly metal or offbeat side. I listened to stuff like Oingo Boingo back when Oingo Boingo was actually still playing. My first introduction to Rush was the Roll the Bones album, and I just bought it because of the cover, and then I ended up falling in love with it.
I had a buddy that played guitar when I was first learning, and he discovered Rush Roll the Bones. But then he went full Rush 4 and had like every single cassette.
That was my
introduction.
That was kind of how I started off with them too. But now metal, you go into things like Metal Church. I loved Iron Maiden. Found a great fondness for Testament. Still one of my favorites. And a very, very obscure one because they were more of a local band. Their drummer I actually used to know, Malaya Rage. I've played them for you a couple of times.
That's why I remember the name. Look at these. Mike here can't see it off camera, but he's got one of those old console systems in these cool collections. So this is Rolling Stones Tattoo You 8-track.
Original.
You millennials may not even know what that is. And then Aerosmith. Look at this. There's not even anything fancy on it. Toys in the Attic, Walk This Way, big 10-inch record.
What's the thing on that side?
This.
Toys in the Attic.
Yeah, Toys in the Attic. Sweet Emotion, No More, No More, Round and Round, Uncle Salty, You See Me Crying. This is ancient stuff. Really cool.
Yeah, hopefully we can see if it works today too. I haven't tested it out yet.
We'll have to check it out later.
Yeah. Actually, we'll do
a second preliminary podcast on whether or not it functions.
Yeah, we'll make a segment of that. Yeah, we'll wrap this up for a sec, take a break, and then we'll do the test, film it, see. It'll be a big reveal. We have no idea if this console works, but it plays 8 tracks, records. It's over there. It's a beautiful shape. I mean, guy picked it up for $30.
Mechanically, I can fix anything that's wrong with that too. So
you're
in good shape.
He said he was going to say that. We're like, no, Chris isn't touching this.
And it's got the things for 45s too, which I also have down here.
That's cool because you can get a lot of rare shit on 45 that you just can't get.
I really don't know what's in there. I mean,
see, and that was what leads me to some of the other real obscure stuff. There were a lot of B-sides that came out from all different kinds of bands. that led me into a whole new world, or just other people that I knew that were telling me about certain musicians and would introduce me to, oh, this is their original band type scenario.
Okay.
Mr. Big, for example, the bass player, Billy Sheehan, his original band, Talus.
I do recall that vaguely.
Oh, he plays a couple of different bass things in that, and they are absolutely amazing. And that originally led me to becoming a huge Talus fan. You move forward a little bit, and then it was a couple of Metallica B-sides. You know, I had the original print of the Kill 'Em All album that had Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg. Now, Blitzkrieg was the cover title album from a band called Blitzkrieg, and I ended up finding material from them, got a cassette, and still to this day have it, and they're good. I didn't get into them, but that one song was phenomenal.
Oh wait, no, I didn't.
And then Am I Evil was a song, a band called Diamond Head that also did It's Electric, which was a B-side on, I think it was the one single from the Injustice album. I think It's Electric was on the B-side of a one single. If you bought the cassettes that were the singles, you always got a different. You got the bonus stuff on the back.
I had the B-side. I had the Jump in the Fire one.
Okay.
And that had Am I Evil live. It had something live and something else too on the other side.
It was always little stuff like that that led me to listening to, like, I have 2 albums from Diamond Head, and they're phenomenal.
Yeah, Diamond Head was great.
They were unbelievable, and it baffles me how some bands like that ended up only getting notoriety from Metallica doing an obscure reference of them and putting it out.
Yeah.
You know, in Metallica in its own right, I loved them up until I think it was the Reload album was the last album that I was kind of on the fence about.
After Black, I got a little off kilter.
Yeah, Black was really the last album I got into, but I listened to them through Load and Reload.
They had a couple good songs on the other albums after that.
The last album they made, I bought. I love it. It's fucking raw as fuck.
Yeah, the last one I like. It brings it back to the original feel.
Death Magnetic?
What's that?
Death Magnetic?
Or, is that what it's called?
Not sure.
That was the last album I remember after Saint Anger.
It came out like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, Death Magnetic. I didn't like it.
I liked it. It was rough.
If you hear it, a lot of the stuff, some of the stuff that they actually put on there, you could hear in other songs way before.
I agree with that.
They're basically taking other songs and
was that it has that hardwired to self-destruct. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, like that riff was literally years before, and they just took it and just kind of worked it a little bit.
I agree with that, but
let's reverse the structure and play it the same way.
I agree with that statement, but I miss that stuff, so I guess I'm okay with it because I missed Metallica being that way. I guess that's because I instantly heard I could hear 3 Metallica songs in this song.
Yeah,
but I'm like, fuck it, I'm good. I was like, I need some new old school Metallica.
Yup.
I was good with it.
See, like, my fondness for Iron Maiden came about just riding on the bus and having somebody else that listened to it constantly. And I started off, I think one of my favorite albums from them, though the song is off the Power Slave album, the one that we got used to listening to on the bus ride to school was the Live After Death album. And Ace's High, the scream of the guitar that he does in the concert as opposed to on the album
I've seen it live.
So much more
really?
More amazing.
Iron Maiden?
I've seen them 3 times, and their stage show, there's nothing really? Like their stage show.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it
I wasn't big on
it. It
that,
was amazing. I mean, the guy came out. While the guy's doing a guitar solo, Bruce Dickinson comes out with a flag. Obviously not American, but
right.
Comes out. He literally puts it over his head, and the guy's like, I don't think it was planned, but it was like literally covering him all over, and there was no way he was even able to see his guitar. He's just going and going and going and going.
At the I saw Stone Temple Pilots at the very beginning and the very end. One of my favorite bands, but I saw them before I even
You see
heard them
the
on the
change
radio.
in
They
him?
opened up for Megadeth.
Oh,
They
I saw
played their
Megadeth.
They played their whole first album, beginning to end. I was so blown away. A week later, back when they had Strawberries, I went there, bought the CD, and as soon as I played, I remembered 4 songs from just hearing it once. Like it was stuck in my head all week. And then I saw them at the very, very end of their pinnacle, and it was open floor.
Mm.
Anyone in the seats could go to the floor. They didn't seem to have people restriction. I managed to weasel my way, push all the way about 8 feet from the front, fucking right in front of Scott Weiland. The very last thing, he had an American flag and he's holding it up. Everyone's cheering, and he wraps himself in it during the last solo, strips completely naked, and is just wrapped in the American flag for the last chorus, and then just walks off stage. I was like, holy shit. I was like, that takes balls.
I know you were talking about Soundgarden earlier. One funny fact is when Soundgarden went on tour with Guns N' Roses.
I never said Soundgarden, but
I did.
Okay, that was him.
Anyways, go on. I didn't.
Their last concert with them, they wanted to prank them because Guns N' Roses was the main.
Mm-hmm.
So the main people always prank the other guys. They went on stage naked, banging blow up dolls, while Soundgarden was like on stage.
Oh my god.
I actually have Slash's book, and there's a picture of him doing it while you can see Chris Cornell on stage, and he looks horrified. And apparently Soundgarden, while they were on stage, were sticklers about just no antics, no nothing, just play the song. And they come out with no pants on, banging blow-up dolls on the side.
They did two of my favorite people, which not in your guys' spectrum, but is Beck and Radiohead. And one time when Beck was doing had to be like 6-7 years ago. Beck was touring in Europe, and they're friends because they have the same producer. And Radiohead did this weird live art thing where they set up a little coffee table while Beck was doing his act, and they just had coffee and tea. And they had a waiter that would come out and bring them things, and they just pretended the world didn't exist around them. The entire concert is just Radiohead having tea, like just reading a book and stuff. And Beck's doing his show there. And they commented, "Oh, that was fun. Let's do that again sometime."
I thought it was kind of neat the way that they, I guess you would say, I don't know, they said that there was actually a problem with the pyrotechnics that caused part of the show to go this way, but it was more staged than anything else. The last Metallica show that I went to for the Reload tour in Worcester, there was a moment where it looked like the whole pyrotechnics thing failed and hurt James Hetfield. And what they use that as is almost intro to them killing the lights, having a whole thing, and then somebody comes over and goes clink from a light bulb that they dropped from the roof.
Oh,
just
yes.
a regular little light bulb, and they went clink, and then all 4 of them sat together in a little tiny, close-knit acoustic style performance
With like little tiny amps and
they
I
broke
see that
right
on- I
down
see
to
that on
nothing, and the
one of their
best part about
DVDs.
it was that was a show
Wow.
I've told you 100 times about me going with
Yeah.
that guy Gordon.
Yeah.
The best part about that was literally we were front row, and
Oh,
we
wow.
were 15 feet away maybe from where they were doing all of this
No shit.
in perspective. So
That's cool.
it was really, really cool to see it all happen
they
that
do that on
close in
purpose, by the
proximity.
way. I've seen that on one of their DVDs. They have like a live DVD and everything.
Yeah,
And they did the same exact thing. All of a sudden,
they
something went
played
wrong.
off very, very well.
Something went wrong. and then
STP did that.
Everything had to shut off.
The last time I saw them, they took a quick break, and they come out, and there's a lamp, a couch, and another
Excuse me, people.
a lamp, like a tall lamp, couch, and a sofa and stuff. And they sit down, and they play Pretty Penny and the one that we do, Creep.
Mm-hmm.
And and like one other one acoustic, and that was then they take another 5-minute break, come back.
We
live,
only
but
did
it
that
was pretty
once,
cool.
and it came out pretty good.
What's that?
Creep.
That's one of our oldies. One of our favorites.
Yeah,
That's
he's
one that we
always
can
had it
go
up on the
6 months
board.
without playing, and pretty
6
much
months, 3 years.
Been pulling right out our ass.
Let's see. Well, this past time was a little over 3 years. The incident that happened before was 4.5, and we were able to like that because we've been playing that for a very, very long time.
We're fucking old.
We've grown old, and not for nothing, but we've happily grown old.
Like I was saying, I realized I've known you as a friend longer than any other person in my lifetime now. Like even all the childhood things and everything, it's fucked up. I'm getting old, man. That bastard ain't old though. He's like this youngin' kid.
Old at heart, but not.
He's still a young buck, but he plays. He's got an old school feel, and I love it.
Yeah, some fantastic.
Bison Ridge, everybody, try something. To friends, old and new.
Old and new.
Old and young.
Our breakfast podcast this morning has put a good-sized dent in this bottle.
Yes, it usually does.
Yep.
Yep.
Guessing scrambled eggs is okay with everybody?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. How do you like your eggs? Cooked. I'm sorry, but the only kind of egg that tastes really any kind of different to me is poached. And it's more of a texture issue than anything.
I've been meaning to master eggs Benedict.
Oh,
Which
not
means
easy.
you got to poach an egg.
Yeah, plus get that hollandaise sauce right.
Which is not easy.
No, there's this place in Charlton, that little Charlton diner. It's been closed like a year or two. It was cash only. Fucking amazing egg
Dad's?
Benedict. What's that?
Dad?
No, it was the little Charlton
It was
diner
the
right on
Charlton
Route 20.
And it said Yankee Diner on the front.
Oh yeah, it
and
said
those.
Yankee Diner on the front.
In Charlton.
Right
Where?
where 169 comes together,
Yup.
and
169 meets 20 this way.
yeah, and you got the McDonald's and the gas station up the street.
Just up the top of the hill, yup.
Right in between the two, coming up the hill to the light, there's that Yankee Diner. It was like
Oh my God.
that place was bomb when it was open.
Okay, knowing this, and I'm going to tell you now, and for all of you who are interested, if you want to try out an absolutely fantastic breakfast, listen up.
If you're in Massachusetts,
Yeah, if you're in Massachusetts and anywhere around the Southbridge area, please pay attention. Southbridge, Mass. Elm Street. It's called the Center.
the center. All right.
It's directly across the street from the Elm Street Fire Department, which is the only fire department in Southbridge. So
No,
if you
no,
can find it,
Yeah,
it's directly across the street from that. Just before you get to the town hall, you turn into a back parking lot. There's only a small sign out front, so you've got to pay attention when you turn onto Elm Street because it comes up very, very quickly. But they have some of the most amazing breakfast foods and lunch foods that I have ever had anywhere. And we travel from Douglas, Mass to Southbridge, which is a good 35, 40-minute drive, regardless of which way you go or how you drive. And it's absolutely worth every moment of the drive because not only the people in the service, even if you have to wait for it, it's fantastic. They have a specialty on the menu called Chef's Choice Omelet.
Anyone opposed to cheese?
Negative.
Nope.
It's a chef's choice omelet, and the only question that they usually have is there anything that you're allergic to? But they also take recommendations, and here's my recommendation. I don't know how y'all feel about this. They once made me one with chorizo, and I have become a very, very big fan of chorizo sausage.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's cooked properly. It's amazing, especially if it's a good chorizo. Well, they have some of the best around, and they also make their own homemade hash. Well, this particular first one that he made me was the in-house chorizo, homemade hash, sausage, and
Like
a
the corned beef style hash, the
real deal, and a mango style salsa with bean sprouts. Was the very first time I ever got it that way.
That's weird.
It was strange as hell, but absolutely delicious. And in the chef's choice, they take precedence. They do build it their own way every single time. So if you give them no recommendations, he'll just go freestyle, and whoever orders it next won't get the same thing that you got. It'll be a very, very one-off omelet for you to try.
That's like my midnight stir fries.
But
Never the same way twice.
their omelets are massive. They're like this big around, and they cover them with one of the most delicious hollandaise sauces that I've ever had in my entire fucking life. And it's just smothered in this. And yeah, you never walk out of there hungry. It's kind of like Carl's Diner. You never walk out of there hungry.
I just want to master that poached egg and hollandaise sauce, because when it's done right, it's fucking just to die for. And then if you have some real corned beef hash, where you make the corned beef, shred it the next day, fucking, and that's what that place did in Charlton. It was that type of hash, the fucking eggs Benedict. They did it 3 different ways. Everything was amazing there.
A poached egg is not easy.
No, it ain't. I mean, you gotta, it's specific parameters.
The secret to poached eggs is vinegar.
I've heard this.
I've tried it. It didn't work.
Well, that's because you can't cook worth a shit.
I don't know. He's got a good spread going for it.
Yeah. Okay, so I stand corrected. It looks like he can cook.
Yeah, the breakfast portion of this bourbon for breakfast has been brought to you by Mike.
How do you think I get the girls? I don't have the looks. I gotta cook.
Well, not for nothing, but
I thought it was the huge penis.
That's after I cook.
That's after.
You gotta cook for them first.
Listen, the only part about huge penis that we're talking about when it comes to Mike is if he takes Viagra, he's going to get taller.
Hey, my girl was here like 20 minutes before you guys showed up. She could have told you.
What? I was absolutely right?
Glad we didn't get here 20 minutes early.
Yeah, right. Good thing.
She was the reason I was up.
Uh,
No, it wasn't even that. She had to go to work.
On that note, I think we'll take a break here. Breakfast's almost ready. We'll do the segue into the, we'll see if this device works over here. And
I hope so.
we got a stack of track 8s. Yeah, 8 tracks that will
Stack of
show
track
off
8s.
And he's got some records here. We'll get a good thing. If it's going, then it's going.
Let's go.
Except we won't be able to play the music because it's copyrighted, and I can't put it on the podcast. But if it works, I think we can play just 2 seconds as like a sample, just to say that it works. But anyways,
we're not looking for any monetary value out of any of this anyway, so as far as copyright infringement, you don't have to worry about it.
You got to be careful with YouTube now. They have filters that if we were playing Aerosmith in the background, the company that owns Aerosmith's publishing rights and stuff has bots that will crawl the YouTube and found that we were just playing it in the background. Even if it was on the radio, and they will give you a strike, a copyright infringement.
YouTube has gotten that
It's
big.
gotten that anal retentive. So
Wow.
It's gotten that big.
So-
All right.
As much as
So I
would
stand
love,
corrected.
As much as I would love to, because
I was wrong.
Because
Take note.
we-
I was wrong.
we love all these. We love all these
For 100th
music,
time.
and I think you can actually buy a license to do this, but it's $2,000 a year. To where, if you're a club owner where you play cover music bands, you're actually supposed to pay a license. It's $2 or $3 grand a year to have the rights to be able to play all this music. It's like a conglomerate that all the companies that own all the publications
Tuesday,
basically
right?
made a fund and said, okay, if you're
Speaking of that, this Tuesday, right?
Tuesday night if you're in the local area. Of course, none of you will see this in time.
Yeah,
Point
I won't
three,
have it published in time, but we got our first gig coming up together.
We'll let you know how it is on the next Bourbon for Breakfast episode.
Hell yeah.
Brought to you by a different episode of something other than Bison Ridge. We'll have a new one out for you to try and give you our assessment on it. Which, by the way, guys, we
Actually,
haven't,
pretty good.
haven't given our assessment on the current whiskey that we're having this
We
morning.
should actually always judge it.
Well, that's what we've
But
done
also
usually
in a
up
fair
front.
manner, because I mean, all whiskey is good that we bring in here, and we don't want to diss any brand that we're playing around with.
All right. Well, so
Alright.
so we give a fair assessment. We're going to give a little tiny taste here.
I think this one is smoother than the one we had at practice. Kind of in between the Eagle Rare.
But not quite the last one that you had.
Yeah, that was a little extra burn.
A full assessment shot.
Definitely
I
good.
mean, I have to say that's about, well, it's Canadian whiskey, aged quite a while, but it's smooth. Doesn't have the burn like the other one.
It's got a very, very. It's got a late warm feeling in your mouth and throat. It's
That's
it's
what
got
she said.
it's got a very, very almost for lack maybe a macadamia nut hint to it that
That's what
I
she said,
get
and it has a
when-
nutty flavor.
yeah, it's got a little bit of a nutty flavor. You can definitely taste the oaky, but not like seriously charred oaky barrels. It's not that
Yeah,
serious.
there is a smoke Harris barrel.
A hair of smoke, but not overdone.
Wonder if that's like what mellows the burn.
It's really good, and for a $20 price point, I don't think you can go wrong if you're looking for something in a cheaper price point and it's available to you.
No, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, personal opinion. This one here, yeah, definitely.
$20? That's not bad.
Not bad at all. Very, very good whiskey. Been an absolutely fantastic bourbon for breakfast morning.
Yep.
Having our chef Mike over here cook up some grub. As you can see, he's got quite the spread. We got bacon, sausage, eggs, pancakes, blueberry pancakes at that, with fresh blueberries even.
I know.
I am duly impressed. Yeah.
I don't know. I might have to be his new fling or something. He's gonna cook me this every day.
Well, I don't know if he's going to do it every day.
I don't know.
I love cooking.
You can have one.
You can-
I'll cook for you too.
Oh, okay. That works.
We'll take the couch.
Hey, I'm sleeping on a small couch over there now.
Anyways,
Why, your bed's not comfortable?
No, she usually sleeps on the bigger couch, so.
Like I said, the bed's not comfortable.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Amazingly, like, I don't know, you tried to clean
I'm
that
a couch person,
before
too.
Before you gave it to me? Because I don't know if you noticed, but you notice that middle cushion? You see that spring popping up right there?
Oh, it's happening on all of the cushions.
Yeah. Well, it
That
happens
wasn't-
to be absolutely perfectly on the small couch, like when I lay on it. It happens to be
It nestles you just right,
just right.
he's cuddled by a spring.
because nothing else will cuddle him. You might as well get a little from the spring.
Take what you can get,
On
right?
that note, ladies and gentlemen, this has been.
Yeah,
good.
I didn't bring a coffee this morning, but here's to you.
Mhm.
Bourbon for Breakfast, episode 3. Mike's Bar.
Mhm.
Mike's Bar and Breakfast.
Hells yeah.
Have a great day, everybody. Oh, here we go. Give it a second now.
Any lights going on?
Does that side lift?
Nope.
What's underneath on the other side? Just a speaker?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear something.
Alright.
Hey.
Let's first see if we can get FM out of it. All right, it's on FM.
And you might need an antenna, but that sounded like you could pick up some static, maybe.
We probably do need an antenna.
Are the speakers hooked up?
I'm seeing how much a signal is right there. Loudness. I would still give it a minute for the volume.
Does have power though.